When I emerged from my prison, I thought I might find the seams of a new world. The light from the cracked sky alluded to grand possibilities. Yet when I stepped through the threshold, I found myself in a white hallway. The floors gleamed with polished granite, and the ceiling rose at least 2 stories high. Ahead of me was a corridor that led to places I could not yet see. The walls were accented with a creamy off-white hue. Every once in a while, I'd pass a section of the wall that was decorated with a painted angel, not in a frame or part of the wallpaper, just there, resting in different poses, lifting their hand above their shoulders. I had a vague impression of strolling by them that they were breathing, shoulders rising and falling ever so slightly. I'd definitely seen them before, but I was still regaining my memories. I couldn't see the full scope just yet.
Do you know where you're headed?
A chirpy voice called out. I whipped my head around to try and figure out where it was coming from. Then, another wave of familiarity washed over me. I didn't realize you could still talk to me after I absorbed you. Well, isn't that surprising?
Haha, very funny. You won that exchange. I may have lost the battle, but we are not going to lose the war.
I've got more space for the rest of your friends. Who knows? You might even have a roommate in this body very soon, lest you hold your tongue. That caused her to pipe down for the time being. She was the first shapeshifter I defeated. Her fatal flaw was her poor acting skills. I sighed. I'm not exactly sure where I'm headed, by the way.
I suppose you could ask the sentinels at the reception desk.
Further down the corridor sat chairs and small tables covered with informational pamphlets. Something about kneeling to the High Court. I took it as rubbish and moved on with my search. Cults are a scam these days. After about 5 minutes of wandering, I came across a small archway to my right. It led into a waiting room brimming with purple and orange lights. At the far side of the lobby was a vacant desk. Before I approached it, I quickly ducked off to the side and morphed into one of the shapeshifter's human forms. I didn't immediately know that I was capable of it, but I heard the sigh in my head.
Seriously? You're going to sneak in there pretending to be me?
I escaped under your watch and assimilated your powers into mine. Next time, don't be so careless. Ah, wait, that's right. You haven't got a next time. When I re-emerged from my brief hiding spot, I wore the flesh of Angelo, the fair-veiled maiden. I was adorned with a black dress and carrying a handbag that might as well have been a shade darker. Odd for what I was used to, but I'd have to make do. The counter was bare except for clunky phones and old computers. An empty swivel chair was all that greeted me, but upon a second glance, I noticed a bell I could strike to get someone's attention. I chimed it once, twice, and a third time to hint at my growing annoyance. A moment briefly passed before I heard scrambling from somewhere behind the counter.
Hey, I'm coming, hold up.
A hurried figure rushed from around the corner, greeting me with a customer service smile. She was dressed with an imperial-looking outfit and carried a tall spear in her right hand. She sat down at the desk and booted up the computer, logging in with her left hand with the spear still clutched.
My name is Secrelise. How can I help you today?
I have a few concerns with the plan I was given. In all honesty, I wasn't sure what I was meant to say to her, but I figured I could at least pretend to know what the hell I was talking about. It was something about not being able to fulfill a promise. Just need to speak to your higher-ups about a possible reassignment. Secrelise looked up from her screen slowly and comically narrowed her eyes.
Have we met before?
No, I don't suppose so. I'm not usually around when you're here.
You don't smell like a being from the higher court.
Didn't have time to bathe before work today. It happens more often than you think.
What is your name?
Delilah. But of course you know I have more.
Ah, fair play. I should have remembered you're a shapeshifter. Let me see.
She looked back down at the screen for something while I internally sighed. That was ridiculously close. I guess I was a shapeshifter after stealing Delilah's powers, but I had to let them think I was one of them.
The big kahuna isn't here right now, but I can take a message for you if you'd like.
No, you see, I can't wait. If he's not here, can I at least speak to his second in command or something?
I'm sorry. Are you not aware of how things operate around here? He sees you precisely when you need to be seen.
I'm sorry, but this is a pressing matter. I need to speak to someone about this. She stiffened in her chair, tensing up, white knuckle gripping the spear. She coldly stared at me and asked me a simple question.
Why have you been lying to me?
Because penance is owed by the High One. In a fraction of a second, Secrelise leapt with the spear, barely perceptible. But before the lethal tip of the blade could pierce me, I ducked under the trajectory of her movement. It happened in less than the blink of a mortal's eye. Before she knew what happened, I had her pinned to the wall, my forearm at her throat and her spear aimed squarely at her stomach.
You have no such right.
Oh, but I do, I grunted harshly. Your only recourse from death is to submit to my supremacy. If you bend to my will, I shall spare your life.
Curse your legion of sickness. Hellfire will rain upon you, vermin.
An icy grin spread across my face. I've always wanted to wield a spear. She shot a hand up to defend herself from the incoming arc of the weapon. The blade pierced through it, pushing it back to her chest before it tore through her ribcage. Secrelise exhaled with great suffering, spluttering up blood, eyes wide from the agony. This is a meaningless fate. With the other hand, I placed the palm of her mortified face. Purple rays of light spilled from my skin and formed a waterfall of photons to my fingertips. I stole her shape and left the old blueprint as a husk of sinew and bones. I am the hell she lives within.
What the actual fuck?
Delilah's voice snapped inside my head.
What have you done?
I told you I have more room for the rest of you. Get comfortable. Secrelise awoke in the same prison that held Delilah.
You will never stop all of us.
Are you guys sisters or something? Why do you two have the same voice?
We are a collective voice for justice. When a member of the collective falls, the horde will be unleashed upon you. You will pay for your barbarism.
Then they shall be acquainted with my wrath. I stepped out the marble corridor, continuing forward as I noticed that the breathing angels on the walls had vanished. A pity. I thought the decorations made the place look alive. I let the tip of my spear drag on the ground, creating a long echo reverberating down the lengths of the facility. Then, without warning, the sourceless lights of the hallway flickered and turned off. The air ran cold as an authoritative voice bellowed from beyond the field of my vision.
Interloper, lay down your weapons and fall to your knees.
I snickered to myself as I morphed into the visage of Secrelise. I've lost sight of the subject. I am wounded from defending myself, but she's still at large.
That may be,
The voice responded.
But, based on fresh information, she has the ability to shapeshift. How do I know you aren't her?
I am loyal to the High Court, and I would never deceive my comrades.
Then, on the count of 3, I say we both lower our blades, and then we shall be bathed in the amber glow of truth. What do you say?
Agreed.
1, 2...
Before the count reached 3, I reacted in a sudden movement, launching my spear into the shadow beyond. The arc was perfect, and with a breath I recovered my stance, but the being caught it in midair. An orange hue began to emanate from the space about 100 feet from me.
You are a lie that will be abolished.
The glow revealed silken garments and feathered wings.
I am Raznev, the Oracle of Flight. You are trespassing upon this place, and I demand that you surrender.
I come seeking justice, and I shall not leave until I am paid my dues. You can still walk away from this alive if you point me in the direction of your supreme leader.
You will never execute your revenge, Meredith. You will not get past my defenses, for I can predict each motion you take, every strike you intend to lay upon my flesh, every lie you intend to tell. You are not one of us.
A purple shimmer revealed itself in my pupils. You might be able to counter what is known. Your knowledge might extend to Meredith and the shapes she can take, but you'll never be able to comprehend my subversion of destiny. I'm not only greater than Meredith, but I'm also far more superior than the shapeshifters she's consumed. I am a goddess!
You are no more than a contagion, and I refuse to let your curse continue.
In the next instant, I spoke with the voice of each creature I swallowed. I embodied the playful captivity of Delilah, the cunning nature of Angela, and the servitude of Secreles. You are a flame to be extinguished. I raised my palm to the ceiling, calling forth oceans of violet sun rays from the purple star above. The scrouge tore apart the ceiling, raining chunks of pearly stone around us. As soon as the energy graced my skin, I felt the chamber violently react to the foreign power. Through the new field of swirling pandemonium, I walked toward the mistaken oracle who blindly swung a sword in fury.
You will never have your victory.
Just as a wild slice would have connected with my face, I grabbed the oracle's arm with my right hand. It tried to punch me with the other, but I ducked under the jab, and with my weight, I slammed it into the granite. Just as I had done before with all else that stood in my path, I absorbed the winged guardian into my ecosystem of voices. With it came a rising sensation from within, the feeling of higher altitude. I was given a vision of a soaring mountain, and from its peak, I could feel the eyes of the all-powerful one. When I touched the oracle's face, the world shattered into futures. Thousands of paths forward melted into a single gateway, and at its mouth, my vision lined up with the new reality. In my final form, I constructed myself as a hybrid of my silhouettes. I wore the head of the stag with the bioluminescent eyes, the imperial uniform of Secreles, and the wings of the oracle so I could take flight to the summit of the mountain. I carried myself over the thousands of trees where the sacred being stared at me, and I passed overhead. The wind whipped rapidly at my antlers. The new sky above me was vacant and cold, devoid of a sun or stars to light my way. A black expanse that contradicted the vibrance of each blade of grass. The voices of each identity had begun to draw back into the recesses of my mind, one by one, until my mind was silent in the upward momentum. At the peak, I saw not a throne or a council of the highest adjudicators, but a small clearing where the grass swayed gently. No figure stood before me. No god claimed his righteous place above everything, yet I felt those eyes on me. No throne, no god. But I am still entitled to retribution. I sit now atop these predatory heights with an answer and a question in simultaneous nature. God is the mountain. God is the trees. God is the system of life that calls itself the heir to the land below. And yet, God is nowhere. In my solitude, I am left to ponder my purpose. The town of warped glass, the hallway of unpromised glory, the desk of dilated time. What was all of it for? I have been imprisoned by the forces at play, made to forfeit myself at the will of the Creator that refuses to answer me when I challenge him. I am a collection of all that I perceive with the faces and the names that I accumulate. But such is the very nature of God in the end. God is the adjudicator, the servant, the sign of blessing and the omen of misfortune, the sword I swing and the spear I drive. But if that is the case, why am I the goddess of the canvas if I am also nowhere? Meredith was always who I was destined to be, but so was Delilah, so was Angela and Sequelles. But my truest name, the one preeminent to all of my mortal iterations, is also non-existent. What have I done wrong? Why is this my fate? If all of this breathes as one, then it is already laid in stone that I've been defeated. I am all-powerful and I am only one voice in the wandering choir. God is in the same dimension, but a step beyond what I can reason with. I leap beyond what I was designed to touch. It all makes sense. This is a manifold place. It is the zenith of all things. It is also where God looks away.